Okay, excellent.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
I want to thank uh, Dr. Singh for inviting me to speak here today. And um, I'm going to today I'm going to talk about how to make a strong business and strategic case for adopting digital pathology. I'm going to try to give you an overview of what's the current state of digital pathology for clinical diagnostics, give you an update on how we have implemented this technology and the workflow at our institute, The Ohio State University. I'm going to try to discuss the value proposition for implementing this digital sign out for clinical applications. So this is a picture of my campus where I work, Ohio State University in Columbus. This is the cancer center where I work. So I'm going to talk about some of the regulatory issues, the financial issues, workflow issues, and the cost of technology. And the goal is when we decided to digitize our department, why this was an advantageous step to take and what have we achieved so far. So this is an exciting time in pathology. We have an opportunity to disrupt the way we conduct our workflows. Digital pathology and AI is a new way of things that initially does not meet the need of existing customers, which are your patients, your different stakeholders, as compared to a sustaining innovation, which is traditional pathology. So if you look at the state of the whole slide industry, imaging industry, today we have an ability to automate and use high resolution whole slide imaging systems, which you can load up to 1,000 slides at one time, and with an ability to get a resolution up to 0.25 microns per pixels. So today I can load up to 100 slides per hour, scan them using one of these high throughput robots. So as a geopathologist, I look at prostate biopsies, I'm looking at nucleoli. With this technology, we can get a resolution which can separate two nucleoli within the nucleus. So overall, if you look at the cost of the system and the cost of actually scanning a glass slide and making it digital, the cost has gone down significantly in the last decade, and the adoption continues to increase. So systems are getting better, faster, and smaller. So overall, these are the value propositions. Our goal when we digitize the workflow is to increase the productivity of the systems, improve information management, distribute cases, improve quality of my diagnosis so I can rapidly show a case with second pathologist in real time. If I'm in my office and I have to consult from a dermatopathologist who is in a different part of the city or anywhere in the world, I can show them a case. There is an opportunity to increase revenues if do pull-through revenues, brand recognition, cost savings, and then becoming an innovation leader. So as you will hear throughout today's conference, and as you've heard from other speakers, we now have an opportunity to innovate pathology in ways that we've never done before. So in the United States, two scanning companies have made scanners which are now FDA approved for primary diagnosis use. So those two are the Philips scanners and the Leica scanners. There are some labs which around the world which have gone 100% digital. So this is LabPon, which was the first clinical lab in the world to have transitioned completely to digital diagnosis. So here you can see a pathologist with no microscope reviewing a case on a monitor. My office, my workflow looks very similar to that. In the UK, there are hospitals which are also going digital. This is a hospital in Leeds, teaching hospital, which is now gone digital. If you look at the landscape of how many vendors are in the space, the field of digital pathology and AI is evolving rapidly. Now, there used to be a handful of vendors when I first started in the field, but now all the way from patient accessioning of cases all the way to reporting them. There are many, many different companies and vendors who are making making products for digital pathology and AI. So let's talk about what are the key considerations when you're trying to implement whole slide imaging. So the factors to consider include what kind of a lab are you trying to provide services in? Is it a reference lab? Is it a research lab? Is it a clinical lab? Or is it both clinical and research? How many cases are you going to process? What are the types and number of slides that you're going to use? What is the size of your staff? How many users do you have? Do you already have an existing system, or you are starting from scratch? What are your requirements and what are your expectations? You have to be realistic and you have to be aware of the adoption issues. So all the way from, as the case is accession in the lab, all the way to reporting, there are many, many aspects of the workflow which are still manual. So in order to go digital, you will start to digitize your entire workflow, because in order to scan these slides, they have to be barcoded, they have to be partly integrated to the lab information system. So with digital, when you digitize your workflow, you have an opportunity to improve all aspects of pathology workflow. So even before you buy the first scanner, you have already fixed a lot of issues which are not standardized in the lab. So I want to run by how we have implemented digital pathology at our institute and why did we do it? What was the key benefits for us so far? So we have about 90,000 surgical pathology cases in our lab, about 600,000 slides, and about 3,000 slides per day. So this includes H&E slides, it includes special stains, it includes immunohistochemistry slides. So for us, the value was to improve the quality. It was to create operational efficiency and balance cases. So if I'm in a hospital on a given day and I have too many cases, I can electronically and digitally distribute those cases and balance the load that comes to me. We also wanted to take all the manual and analog information, start organizing it into one place. We also wanted to use this opportunity to bring more patients into the system, so we can create a consultation network, and then use these new tools and technologies for research, education, and innovation. So as a result of implementing digital pathology, we have a graduate program and collaboration with computer science, where we have graduate students now working on pathology images and helping build AI algorithms. So our focus is also on increasing revenues for the system, building telepathology, tele-consultation networks, increase referrals for low-volume specialties, and get into global medicine, where we track new patients to our institutes. And then using the tools that we have built, start to build predictive algorithms and using AI tools. So the key result areas that we wanted to focus on were productivity and efficiency, and impact of digital pathology was balance the workload, provide automation in the workflow, look at the turnaround time and see before going digital and after going digital, what was the impact on improvement of turnaround time? We also wanted to look at results and quality. So can we use digital pathology to improve the QA program, sharing images, remove site barrier to second opinion. So I'm no longer restricted to my office for reviewing cases. I can consult from anywhere in the world and provide consultation to other parts of the world. So we wanted to look at, are we making the same number of technical errors? Are we improving our diagnostic error rate? Another area we wanted to look was innovation and strategic growth. How many new consult cases can we bring, and how many partners can we bring to the table now that we have this technology? Can we increase our research opportunities? So we are measuring the number of consult cases, number of partner institutes, new tools, number of patents, number of grants, number of research projects. Service and reputation is another area that we are focusing on, where can we improve patient satisfaction? Can we improve our leadership in this area? We improve our brand. So we're looking at satisfaction scorecards. We've done surveys. We looked at number of papers and talks that are presented on the subject. The financial performance is another key area. Can we increase the revenue from new cases and patients? So we are measuring cost savings, we are measuring pull-through revenue, and then finally, workplace of choice. So if we have this technology, do residents and fellows and other pathologists want to join our institute? Can we improve our conferences? Can we improve the way we do education? So for example, can we bring new tools like Path Presenter to use these new images? Can we deploy software? So we're constantly looking at our staff and faculty and doing surveys to assess this. So this is the network that we are on. So you can see we have several scanners which are connected to the network. We have review workstation and barcode printers. We also have a large scanner which can do whole mount slides. These are connected to our OSU data center network with a bandwidth of 10 GBs. We are storing images in 3 tiers. We're storing images on site in duplicate. Each image is about 1.2 gigabytes. Most pathologists have 3 monitors in their offices now. One of them is a medical grade monitor. So this is the building which is where the histology lab was before. And this is the cancer hospital where the scanning center is or was now. So this is the space where we started in January of 2017. We moved in, we started installing the scanners, and then we went live in May of 2017. So this is the space that looked like. It's about 800 square feet in area, and we have several stations for technicians who come in. And initially, when we started, we were doing retrospective scanning. So we were bringing slides from the archives, we were cleaning them up, we were integrating them and linking them to the image management system and scanning them. So this was a lot of work. We had several people bring in hundreds of trays of glass slides from the storage, and they came in boxes like this, and they were individually cleaned and barcoded. So here you can see a technician who is scanning a barcoded slide, and a barcode label is added to the slide. So these are old slides going all the way back to 2011. And then we would simply place them in the individual scanners and walk away. So with this process in the last 2 years, we have trained several technicians, we have trained several histotechs who are now very comfortable with using digital slides and creating images. So before we did that, we had to train all these people, and they had to understand what makes a good image, what makes a good slide, to make it digital. So we also had to work on interfaces between whole slide imaging systems and the lab information system and the electronic medical record. So this is what we used. Initially, this was the interface that we built with our lab information system. So the message was sent out from, as the case was accession, was an HL7 message, which had all the different information that's needed in the image to be displayed in the workstation. This is me signing out my first case, March 1st, 2018. So I have my first case that I signed out digitally was a benign prostate needle biopsy. And it took, getting used to signing out digitally without ever looking at the glass slide. So we now have over 40 pathologists who are using digital slides for various applications. We have 20 pathologists who are only using digital slides for primary diagnosis. So almost 126,000 cases are now digitized, and that translates to about 1.4 million slides which have been digitized. So starting from 20 to date, going all the way to 2012. So when we first started, we were digitizing slides, older slides, retrospective slides. But more recently, you can see in this chart, in this graph, that we have surpassed retrospective or older slides, and we're constantly scanning new slides. This is because more and more pathologists are now using digital slides, and all their cases are getting digitized. So we also are trying to make decisions on what to store, what to keep, because storage, we have to constantly pay for storage. Unlike radiology, when we, as pathology departments, we still have to store glass slides. In the US, we are required to store glass slides for up to 10 years. So we still have to maintain the glass slide storage, we still have to maintain the digital slide storage. So we are also working on building a telepathology network. So within our state, within our city, within our country, and also globally. So this is a small scanner which is inside a pathologist's office, which is next to a frozen section room. So this system is used to provide remote telepathology support to a pathologist who is away, who's not on the main campus. So if I'm traveling in India and somebody wants to consult me quickly, this machine can load up to 4 slides. We also provide services to some hospitals which are about an hour away from Columbus. So this is a hospital where we provide FNA services in addition to doing primary diagnosis. So this is a small scanner which is the size of a printer. It can do live microscopy. So I can take the slide and review it, control the microscope from my office or wherever I need to be, and review the case remotely. This is last month where we went live with a hospital which is 90 minutes away from my main hospital. So we bought one of these smaller devices which can do scanning, and it can also do live microscopy or remote microscopy. So I can again use this for fine needle aspirations, I can use this for frozen sections. So it enables a pathologist who is not at that site, or if in a region where there's a shortage of pathologists, this device can provide an opportunity for teleconsultation. So in the pathology lab, when we make a H&E slide or we make special stains, we make control slides, positive controls, which are then reviewed by the medical directors. And that slide is now digitized every day, and it's sent electronically to all pathologists. We also do a lot of special stains in pathology. So instead of sending glass slides to pathologists, we now provide a control slide which is digitally available to the pathologist remotely. We also do case of the day every day. So every day there's a link sent out to our pathologist and residents who get an unknown case, a link to an unknown case, which is then viewable from anywhere. And then there's a multiple choice question sent with it, which allows the pathologist to review this. So we also use software like patpresenter.com, which is very popular amongst the residents and fellows at our institute. And I'm sure Dr. Singh will be talking about it in his presentation. So overall, digital slides has improved my workflow by providing me a direct interface to the lab information system. I'm able to share cases with consultants, clinicians, and present cases at humor boards and conferences. We can flag cases for research easily. We can send control slides instantaneously. So it's overall improving my turnaround time by automatically distributing the workload. Glass slides can go directly from the cover slipper to the scanner to the proper pathologist, and cases are instantly available upon scanning. Previous cases are instantly available. So if I have a patient whose biopsy was done 2 years ago and now they are coming here for another treatment, I can look at their current material and their previous material side by side by just pressing a few buttons and doing it instantaneously. In the glass slide world, those slides would have to be brought from the archives. It might take a few hours to get the slides. So it's already improving my workflow. It's already improving patient care. So this is the storage strategy that we have. We have an image retrieval through the image management system. And then we have image acquisition, which is at 3 tiers. So tier 1 is hot storage, where images are instantaneously available. Then we have a policy-based tier 2 and a policy-based tier 3. So we decide how many of those images are then moved to tier 2 and tier 3. And we use different vendors for this. Scality is the vendor that we use for our tier 3 storage. So our data growth is roughly 100 terabytes monthly, which is expected to be 1,200 terabytes yearly, which is, if you distribute that across the 3 tiers, we have 15 terabytes in VMware, which is 1 to 3 days. We have 1,000 terabytes in Isilon, which is tier 2, and then we have 850 terabytes in Scality, which is the long-term archive. So we were the first site to go live with primary diagnosis using digital images. We have started to train histotechs in digital pathology. We're doing a pilot site with the College of American Pathology for digital QA. And we're doing a large multi-scanner clinical trial for digital slides with over 40 pathologists using digital slides for various applications. We have started to do telepathology network and revenue generating contracts with some countries already. And we have several research grants now in digital pathology. And we're doing clinical trials in AI with our graduate students in computer science. So when we went live, one of the things we faced was mainstream pathologists continued to be hesitant to adopt digital pathology. They did not completely trust digital pathology systems. They were afraid to give up their microscopes. And there were some regulatory hurdles, but with the approval of the first 2 systems now, those have somewhat been taken care of. And then we still have to deal with financially, who's going to pay for the scanner? How do we justify the cost of these slides that we are digitizing? So if you look at the adoption curve, we have pathologists who are, when we first started, we were in the early adopter range, but now it's early majority, late majority adoption. So we still have pathologists who are hesitant to use technology because they think it's new and there is no new revenue, no shifts in revenue. They are afraid this will slow them down. They're afraid they will never be able to go home, and it'll lead to decreased academic time. And they're also concerned that when you use AI, and if AI is not implemented appropriately, will it replace the pathologist? So, two things that have happened since we went live with whole slide imaging. We switched to a new lab information system, which was integrated with our electronic medical record, and we moved to a new central lab, which was off campus. So we went live with Beaker in July of 2019. So with this, now I have a list of scan slides instantaneously available. We have an easily accessible link to click through to the slides. Slides open in the image management system, and we use Chrome as our default browser. Slides are sorted by part ID, by block ID, slide ID, and image creation time. So we are sending these components in the message to the scanning system, and as a result, slides are identified but also with human readable IDs. So this is what the workflow looks like. This is my case results screen, so I can see the image slides listed. So when you see this eye icon here, that means there are images available for that case. So these will open I can launch the case images using this click, and I can close the images once I've reviewed the case. As I move to the next case, the next image launches for the next set of cases. So cases will load in my default browser, which is Chrome, and they open in a new window. And as I look through the case, it goes to the first scan slide of the case. So here you can see the navigation panel. You can see all the images that I have for this case. And here I can actually see all the work that I need to do for this patient. I can see all the slides all the stains that are available. I can order immunostains. I can start chart review. I can look at the patient summary. I can look at, literally all the information that I need to take care of this patient is in one place. This was not the case, or this is not the case with a glass slide workflow, because you're looking at your microscope, you're looking at the slides under the microscope, then you're turning your head away, looking at the monitor, you're typing or dictating your case. Suddenly your efficiency increases many folds, because all the information that you need to review the case is right there. So this is my work list, so I can see all these patients with their different accession numbers. I can look at these icons where I can see that images are available. I can then go and look at the image, launch the case images. I can look at immunostains. I can use all these different tools like measurement or annotations or sharing my screen with someone. So this is our football stadium where football is being played. This is the halftime. And more recently, we moved to a new campus. We moved to a new lab. So last month, about a month ago, we shifted to a new lab and we took all the scanners and everything. So this is what the lab looked like last December in 2018. So it was an empty space. We started building the lab, and our goal was to have everything under one roof where patient tissues goes in and images are coming out in real time. So this is the first set of scanners that were started to implement to install. So this, you can see the scanning vendors are coming in. They're setting up the scanners. They're working on it now. And then this is a new automated histology stainer and cover slipper that we bought. So tissue could go in to one place, slides could be stained, cover slipped, and directly moved to the scanning systems. So now the lab is fully operational, and the scanners are working day and night. And we've already started to review. When the first system went live, I did a quality control and check remotely. So now all the cases are digitized. They are as they enter the lab, the tissue comes in and images are going out. So you can see the quality of the images is really incredible. What I like about digital images is I can get a low power view in my monitor, which is not even possible under a microscope. So the image quality is excellent. And then this is the workflow. The slides are being created, scanned, automated case assembly. So it doesn't matter which order you scan them. They digitally get assembled into the case for the right patient in the right folder, and they are distributed to pathologists in real time. They don't need the glass slides anymore. So we now have scanned almost 1.4 million slides, images. We recently started assessing the quality of these images using hue, saturation, and brightness. So every day, you can see we look at the lot to lot and measure the hue, measure how blue is the blue, how pink is the pink, using an automated algorithm. So you can see this is a daily QA histochemistry slide, which is now available electronically to the pathologist. So overall, the value for pathology department is to decrease the time to diagnosis. So within the digital pathology cockpit, you have all the information you need in one place. And this allows the pathologist to do what they do best, is make a diagnosis of disease. They don't have to deal with assembling the information, looking for a lost slide, looking for the paperwork, because it's all there in one place. We can start to use predictive algorithms to make pathologists more efficient and even faster. And then you can consult instantaneously. Telepathology can be used to load balance in real time, consult locally, regionally, and globally, and gain access to complex cases. So this is one way to integrate your entire workflow from end to end. So this is what the typical office will look like in the future, where information is organized, it scales well, and it's often collaborative. So overall, in summary, pathology is ready for a digital disruption, and what will it bring? Increase productivity by managing all the information, the workflow and integration of data, improve quality. So if I have a difficult and challenging case and I don't know what it is, I want to show it to someone, I don't have to wait for days, 2 weeks to get a second opinion. We can do this in real time. So easier access to a subspecialist. We have an opportunity to do insourcing, bring more cases to your institute. You have an opportunity to do pull-through revenues, which means when you bring consults, you also attract patients to your hospital. And then you can create a brand recognition. Cost savings, consolidation, reducing costs. So with the new consolidated histology lab now, we have cut down on the cost of having 2 or 3 labs, where now all the slides can be processed under one roof and images can be created and sent around. So instead of moving glass slides, which is expensive and costly, you can move digital images, which is much more efficient and much less costly. And we are now starting to use algorithms. So with this, I'm going to stop and see if you have any questions for me. I want to thank you for your attention, and I'm sorry we had some technical issues.